Cześć, tutaj Paweł Galant, Strefa Music Art. Dzisiaj mamy wielką przyjemność gościć wspaniałego gościa z zespołu Tangerine. Hello, Thorsten.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's very nice to of you. You approve, accept our invitation for this interview. It's very kind of you. First, I would like to say some reasons why we're meeting here. First, of course, it's an upcoming tour. Your tour in Tangerine Dream in Poland. You're planning 4 concerts in Poland. Maybe we will talk about this in a few minutes later. But first of all, I would like to ask you about the Tangerine Dream project, because it's one of the most iconic names in electronic music. It's a great project. It's since I think that's 1967 when some project start by Edgar Froese. Thorsten, you are the leader of the project now. Could you say some few words how it's happened? You joined the group, because you are much more younger than the group. It's very interesting because now in the group you have a few members. You know? Yes,
That's correct. Yeah. So it was founded by Edgar, and in '67 it was quite. I think the first lineup left after 2 months in around '67, and the first album was with Klaus Schulze, Konrad Schnitzler, and Edgar. It was Electronic Meditation. It was in 1970, and in between were probably 20 people sharing. There was many drummers, people, yeah. many guitar players, many synth players, and yeah, it's a long history, and they were looking for a new keyboard player, piano player, studio guy in 2003. So it's 21 years now. It's unbelievable. And I think they invited quite a few people to their studio in the near Vienna, and I'm here now. So, so for the first years, I was working in the studio and learned a lot from Edgar, because I had a kind of a classical background, and popular music-wise, came more from the kind of gothic rock and progressive rock area and genre, and so I never programmed a sequencer before or patched a modular system. So and that was quite good. So probably not good, but I had the opportunity to learn really from the best teacher in the whole world, Edgar himself, and all the things were taught to me by Edgar. And we started composing an album together in 2004, which was released in 2005 for Standard, together with also with Jerome, and it worked quite well from his perspective. So it was the guy who are doing the decisions, and we were living half a year in his studio in Vienna, and we wrote. I'm not sure if there are probably 160, 170 albums by Tangerine Dream, and I think if you count in and also live albums, I think I also did 65, 68, something around that with Edgar. So yeah, it's unbelievable. We did 4 or 5 studio albums a year, and then live concerts as well, DVDs, Blu-rays, and it was unbelievable productive time. And there is a role. It's a strange name, but a music director. So I was preparing all the tours and doing sound checks, and was composing half of all CDs together with Edgar. And since I did this since 2010, 11, and sadly he passed away in 2015 after our last tour together in 2014 December. It was Australia, and we played some Sorcerer concerts. So the whole Sorcerer soundtrack with the movie behind us on the screen, and this we did as a 4-piece together with Hoshiko and Ulrich Schnaus and Edgar and me. Before that, there were even a lot of kind of band personal changes as well. So there was a time with more saxophone, percussion, electric guitar, but we talked all the time about coming back to the core idea. If there is a core idea of Tangerine Dream, it's electronic sequencer-driven electronic music, and this was a plan for the next phase. But he died after some half a year. But Edgar was probably one of the best or intensive bosses, band leaders, and hardworking person I ever met. So he had plans and scenarios for every could situation that could appear. So there was no one raising the hands, I will do it. So there was a plan from Edgar that the idea of music, the idea of a philosophy behind music can carry on all the time, even if people are or the lineup is changing all the time, because if the idea is strong enough and concept is strong enough, the concept and ideas can live longer than people. It was his idea, and I think it's a nice attempt and a nice idea of understanding and seeing music and art. And so no one could have known what happens after Edgar's death. So, but you kind of selling numbers are not the threshold. So if no one would come to the concert, I would probably do it anyway, because he was my master and teacher doing this, and I really love the music, and it depends. It's not related to selling CDs or big or small concerts, and it works quite well, to be honest. And no one could have expected it. And so we carry on and trying to find the next chord, because Tangerine has strong roots by using scales and finding even for step sequencer programming there are rules, but also another rule is to also every time and try to move on, try to progress, try to find a new thing, and not to become a museum by yourself. And not that's also the idea. So always try to find another thing. That's good and bad at the same time. So I think the easiest way would have been to play 70s and 80s and then just repeat it all the time. The 90s were challenging for many bands, and so, but if you try things, you can peak on both sides. You have a long way to fall if something works, and you can miss on a high note things and fail, because when you're producing and writing music, it often feels good, even if it's not as good in kind of, even if it 1 month distance to the release. So you said, oh, I'm not sure about that anymore. But while you're doing this, most of the time you feel, okay, this is good. So you need time to judge things, and it's judging yourself is a problem by by itself because it doesn't feel right all the time. So it's who am I? So we try to find a new thing, try to get as close to the roots, but carry on and maybe find a new sound.
Because you are as a project, because I just wondering if I can say you are the band, you are not actually the band, you are the project, very, very long year, with very long history, because you create a lot of albums, you create a lot of music. And when I'm preparing to this interview, I just wondering if we can just describe the Tangerine as a electronic music only band, because you have such a different legacy. A lot of musician was in the band and a lot of different styles. I just, you make some I don't know, new styles of the music, like a craft work or something like that. Yeah, that's very interesting. And I also just wondering, because last week I was on the concert of Deep Purple, and I just, your band and the Deep Purple, it's more or less the same year old. They still, a few of the members in the band, you have a lot of changing. It's on a concert it's very tough for you to play the music from older colleagues, or you playing, or you mixing the older stuff with new? Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. So we start by recreating or playing things from the past, and we start in 74 on Phaedra, because the albums before, like Side, Atom, Alpha Centauri, were probably never meant to be recreated, because they were was music composed and invented in the moment it was recorded. So there was this very free form
live performance
things who make noises, so that you can just noise generators and turning the knobs in that time, because you can't save a preset. There were no mini Moog in 72. There were no sequencer as we know it in the 70s, 71. So in 74 was the first sequencer row. This is 8 notes. At that time, 8 notes. Now we could do 32, 16, whatever. But in that time was 18 notes in a row that were looped all the time. But you can edit the envelope of the sound, make it brighter, make it shorter, longer, and also can manipulate it to a 7th loop or a 6th loop. That was the idea, and that is probably the first album we can recreate on stage, which we did this year, and maybe, and this is new, and I'm not sure if our management knew this. One of the Poland concerts will be a Phaedra 50 years of Phaedra concert. It's not announced yet, but it's I strongly have the wish to do this. We did this 1 month ago in London and Barbican. We will do this again in Netherlands, and so we can. So it's 50 years anniversary, and next year would be 51. It sounds strange. So let's do a third 50 years anniversary concert in Poland. I'd like to do it in Stettin. What we will see. And then we play things from the 70s, maybe till 86, 87, because and that is only by, to be honest, musical taste. We know we can't please anyone, so there are people who like to the Schmeling years, and some like the Baumann years, some like the Schreuderli years, and out of musical taste, we skip the 90s because it's not resonating in us in this moment. So we don't play things from the 90s. But start in 2000 something. For sure, things from the last album, Raum, And the last part of every show, or a part of every show, we changed it twice, so that there's a free part for 30 minutes, sometimes 1.5 hours. That we agree on a tempo and on a root key to begin with, and then we play. So I don't like the idea of improvisation, because it's much freer than in this case. It's a real composition. We have some microphone on stage. I have one microphone to talk to the audience, which is not. So I'm not the guy. How you are feeling? Just good evening. That's but I started even with good evening 2 years ago. Before that, I didn't talk at all. But we have microphones to talk to each other on stage, to say, okay, I think in 4 or 8 bars, I'm gonna change that to that, and we play music out of the moment. And the tempo is also related to the room. Because every room has an echo, and it's related to how high is the ceiling, how far is the back wall, and we try this by the soundtrack to make the room pumping, and every room has a resonance key. You find a sound where the room is shaking, like you're doing kind of an electronic toothbrush on the wall in your bathroom. You hear a sound, and that is and we try to find this, and this is a root key of our encore. We play this for 5 minutes around that, and it depends on the curfew.
One of my next question about the places when you're doing the concert, because in Poland you will play on 4 places: Warsaw, Kraków, Poznań, and Szczecin. 3 of them are the music halls, regular music halls. One is a rock club. It's in Warsaw. We play in Podkreśla. It's a absolutely different kind of the buildings, kind of the echo stuff. And how do you find it? Is for you? It's better to play in a quiet place with a good,
It's totally different. That's why we every concert has a different set list. So because it's a, for me, of course, it's a big difference. Is this a seated or standing audience? And it's in theater, it's in halls, in opera. In Warsaw, I think I played there 3 times, and 3 times indoor, 1 time outdoor. They have an outdoor festival in the Podkreśla as well. And it's kind of stone walls, very industrial like esque, and with a balcony. I like that place. But a very small street for the buses in front of it. That's a problem, but it's fine. So that's why we play different sets. So if you would play a very too energetic set in an opera house where people are seated in very uncomfortably seats, you must try to get them more comfort from the music. I really like standing audiences because it's more energy, even if they move their foot from one foot to the other. But it's fine. If there's more energy, you see people moving. But okay, it's easier in Poland, to be honest. In Germany, it's sometimes if you play a classical theater or opera house, it looks like a still. Sometimes you must just know what you have to expect. We play in Baltic states, and if you play in opera house, they wait until the end, and they then start to clap, not in between something. And you play and say, "Whoa, are they hating us?" No, it was just normal. It's an classical environment, and then you have to clap at the end of the concert and not in between, but just come on a little bit. So
if you're making some space, some breaks between the music, the songs, you have time for clapping. But if you do,
but we normally it's one long track, and we one pet is in between, and then we play in the next one, and sometimes it's hard. But in Poland, they are more active than. It's a little bit it's strange to say that, but it's a little bit like Spain and Italy. So people are moving more, and this is great. So in Germany, Baltic states, people just sitting there sometimes and don't move at all.
Yeah, just wondering how the music fans, your fans, taking music during the concert, because you probably have a different kinds of fans.
So if I see energy in the audience, it's I really like that, to be honest. So it's people just, if you like to clap, just clap. So you can't sing along, that's a problem, because it's instrumental music.
Also on the audience, and I will be clapping all the time. Don't worry.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. But you know what I mean. So yeah. And so that's other concerts. Every time different set list, and every time a different session, because it's related to what it's created out of the moment.
Okay, just wondering about the instruments. You're taking all your instruments for a concert, and you're deciding during the concert what you will be using, or the modulars and.
Yeah, it's not everything. So it's it's here. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't take everything as normally I take. It's double 19-inch. So the middle ones not, so it's fine. It's I have 10 different outputs out of the modular system. I have 3 Moogs on stage, some digital ones, some I have sometimes a Quantum from Waldorf and recent Roland System 8, and a Mellotron, which is an hard disk driven Mellotron. Instead of the tapes, it's a hard disk. It's easier, and a lot of things are analog. And
actually, I just want to ask you, do you using a lot of digital stuff, or just only analogs?
It's a mixture. I really like some modular stuff, and I think 90% of it's analog. There's some granular things, which is bit crushers, which is obviously digital. The Moogs are analog. There's 2 Voyager and 1 Minitor. Okay, 4 and 1 Serene, which is Minitor, 1 octave higher. The other synths are digital. Delays are digital for sure. Okay, no. It's a mixture. Even the piano is from an iPad Pro app, because it sounds much better than any, for me, stage piano. Because if you have an iPad Pro, you have 2 terabytes RAM, so this is unbeatable for a sample. So it's a mixture. Paul has an SO1, 101, Roland Juno 106, MS-20, and Nord Stage, including some Korg apps on the laptop. Hoshiko, our violinist, has the 5-string, which is viola and violin in one. So and even a lot of guitar pedals. So there are very good guitar pedals from Electronic Harmonics. For normally for guitars, to play string synthesizer and mellotron as well. So she can play, she often plays the mellotron choir.
Okay.
Because I prefer strings and flute on mellotron. Paul really likes the half speed things, and a violin or viola is tuned in fifths, so it's easy to play kind of a power chord thing, and create even a choir mellotron chord on the violin. So sometimes it's hard to see what she's doing. There's also many loops involved, and loopers, as she looping herself, and there are many phases and echoes and reverbs, and she also doing the choir, mellotron choir, and some of the solina strings with the violin. So yeah, and it works quite well. And so there's no kind of, we say, everything must be analog, everything must be digital. Sometimes it would be easier to use more digital things, especially on festivals where you don't have the time to. I think I need, between the sets, I'll also try to retune it, because if something happens, so people came in, it's 1 or 2 degrees warmer, and then lights, and then the air conditioning starts working, and then you have 3 degrees less, and I have to tune on the at least at the model, I think it was around 20-25 oscillators, and I have to retune it all the time. So it's also on the Minimogs, it's great. I have on every phone output of the Minimogs a guitar tuner that I can every time see where I am, plus minus 10 cents, 5 cents, and I can retune it while playing, because they're everywhere tuner on stage. So if you don't, but it sounds better, and maybe not better, if it feels better, it's warmer, and because it's not as perfect, that's the indifferences sounds for me more lively, for more real. It's a lot of trouble on festival situation. It's also very depends on very stable power connections, and if there is a radiator somewhere, it's sometimes so hard to play, but it's also fine. So it's part of the game, and yeah, I like to play that instrument, so I have to tune them.
Okay, I have one more question about this digitalization in the music, because you said you're playing mostly on the analog instruments, analog things. You do not worry about the AI which creating a music now, because it's a very for many people it's quite easy to use the AI to create especially electronic music. You do not worry about you will be maybe not replaced, because it's an absolutely different thing. But you, how you vision is for this kind of music creation?
It is. So normally I should say, yeah, it's an opportunity and it's great what's happening, but that's not what I'm thinking about it, to be honest. So the AI is always finding the middle of the mainstream and makes it more mainstream, because it also, every time it combines things, known things, to a thing that's maybe new, but a combination of 2 well-known things. So the subgenre music and experimental music probably could die in the next 2 decades. Even things like punk, gothic, and also all the things that it's related to an idea of Weltschmerz, of things. So AI is copying your diary without ever known what but never felt an emotion of the person who wrote it.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's, so I think it's not needed. So I liked AI. It's perfect they should do my dishes, my text work, answering emails. That would be fine for me for an AI, but let the music to for people who try to transport feelings and try to kind of emulate or catharsis-esque emotion transport things and try to reach people with emotions, create so most of the top 10 is sounding generic to me, and that's probably the biggest problem. So you can generate generic sounding music very easy.
That's yeah, that's very true. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, because it's running and we have not much time to left. And once more, can we invite our fans, your fans, for 4 concerts in Poland? Yeah, it will be Warsaw, Kraków, Poznań, and Szczecin in December. Yeah, it will be very nice to have you again in Poland. Yeah, I hope we'll be able to meet during the concert. But I would like to thank you very much for this concert, for this interview. It was very nice to talk to you about this music. It's a very interesting thing, and hopefully to see you in Warsaw probably, because starting with Warsaw, yeah, 4 December.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for the.
Okay. Thank you for the invitation. I'm not sure about the 4th. So it is the 4th. We have to double check the date.
Put in the description. Yeah.
So yeah, very looking for. It's always a pleasure to play in Poland. I think it's exactly 1 year. It was end of November last year. The last concert of we played in Poland. It's always great and always fun to be there, and it's so close. So I live in Berlin, so I think Stettin is kind of 70 minutes by car, and it's very close, and I really like it. So hopefully see you there.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you very much, and see you.
Thank you.
Bye.